The rules for economic regulation for airports company changed just as the World Cup was coming through. Previously, as we lay out the 15 billion to 17 billion of infrastructure, they would smooth the tariffs over time.
So it won't be a
yes,
one-off.
so that while I build, I'm also getting relief so that I can be able to afford to pay for any debt that I'm able to carry. The rules changed to say that for all of the new capital infrastructure that ACSA would undertake, it's got to do on its own balance sheet. And when the assets come into operation, then they will then remunerate you. And you can imagine, they changed the rule on the eve of a large expansion with a 3-year deadline, because the World Cup has a deadline. While the capacity will be able to assist the country beyond the World Cup, the delivery date said, ACSA, use your balance sheet within 3 years to deliver this, and then we will then relieve your creditworthiness in terms of tariffs. So basically what has happened, we just used the formula that we were provided. And we put that in and we gave it to the regulating committee to consider. It is not an issue of whether it's an outcry or not. The biggest outcry could actually be that even the 132% increase, if you look at the domestic passenger charge, you're only paying me the 3% of the population with disposable income to afford to fly is refusing to pay an additional 50 rand on their ticket, which brings it close to 100 rand.
I think when it's the affordability issue
it's not affordability.
In these tough times, actually.
In this 100 rand, for the 17 billion infrastructure we give to the country, is actually pittance. Your helper and mine, to go back home at the end of the month, they pay about 200 rand. But for us, to be asked to pay 100 rand for a flight across a network of refurbished infrastructure, frankly, it is an investment into our society. So the issue about whether it's affordable, on a domestic charge ticket, it is affordable.
Okay, moving on. Lanseria has proven to be competitive, self-sustainable, attracting users, but you're reluctant to sell the aviation business of the Durban International Airport. Why?
The reason for the Durban International, by the way, Mr. Gideon Novich, that you all represent, never presented any request to me. So that is the first point, because he knows very well that when we were looking at the economics of the new airport at La Messi, because ultimately, when the decision was made by government that it's going to happen, we had to look how you make the economics viable. The two-airport system, in terms of a market that you need to make one viable, is not enough. Maybe Gideon must offer me to buy La Messi. Then we can talk. It's not about being...
Would it impact directly on your market?
No. It would
in terms of competition?
Even for any buyer, to have a La Messi without the aviation business of Durban would not be viable to a buyer, and he knows that. So if at all he really wants to be a true proponent of competition, maybe he should come and offer to buy the 6.8 billion infrastructure with the business in it at La Messi. That's real.
Okay. Now, talking about La Messi, it should be operational by the 2nd of May 2010. Are you on schedule?
We should be on schedule, but we have bought ourselves at least a couple of months to test all the systems together.